and welcome to a special discussion brought to you exclusively by Daily Mirror Online. Today we are here with an experienced business operations professional who is the Chief Operating Officer of ODOC. I'm here with Ashik Bari. Hello to you, Ashik.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good. How have you been?
Very well, thank you.
Well, great to hear. And let's go straight into discussion, Ashik.
Yeah.
Let's talk about telemedicine because telemedicine and ODOC goes hand in hand. So in that case, let's talk about what exactly is telemedicine and what are the different levels that are involved in telemedicine.
So, telemedicine in itself is basically where you use technology to speak to a doctor or a healthcare professional. So, for an example, this could be where you use it through a mobile phone, through a tablet, or through a computer. So, if I can just give you two scenarios, one could be where you're on holiday and you've got a rash and you want to speak to your friend who's a doctor. So, you send them a couple of pictures on WhatsApp and then you video call them or something, and then you ask them what's wrong. So, that in itself is a form of telemedicine. The other one could be where you know you're having a cough or a cold or something, and then you want to speak to a doctor to get reassurance or to ask what to do, and then that way you book a doctor through an app and you speak to them. So in both those scenarios, it's basically telemedicine in action.
Okay, so I think that plays well with the pandemic that has come into effect as well. So in such a pandemic and with the new normal is what they call it, how has the global growth been in telemedicine?
So it's important to note that telemedicine in itself is not new. It's actually quite old. Like for example, 50 years ago, if you had a phone at home and then you knew a doctor, you could call them and explain the symptoms, for example, what your child is going through if they were unwell. Then the doctor would say, okay, do X, Y, and Z. So that itself is also telemedicine. So what the pandemic has done, and just before the pandemic what we had mobile apps where you can actually consult doctors that you don't even know. So you can consult doctors from over 50 specialties to speak to a doctor, and then you can speak to them and get diagnosed. So I think that is what the pandemic has done. It's normalized speaking to doctors you're not familiar with through an app on your phone.
Now with the pandemic coming into play as well, and with the new normal as they call it, how would you say the global growth has been in telemedicine?
So the global growth for telemedicine has been great actually. I think we were lucky enough to be in this industry as well in a not so great time. But what we've seen is that more and more people have been comfortable with consulting doctors through an app on their phone, even though they may not know the doctor, they may not have done this before. So even tech-averse people have now started consulting doctors more and more on that. So I think that is what the pandemic has done for the telemedicine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now since you mentioned how people are more open to it and who are more accepting of remote consultations, can we also speak about the reliability and the service quality of telemedicine in general terms?
Yeah. So in general terms, the reliability and the service quality is that. So I can speak on two fronts. One is the American Medical Association has stated that in 75% of consultations can be handled effectively through telemedicine. Then the second part is through ODOC and through our own experience I can speak on, where in 80% of our consultations, you do not require a physical follow-up visit because the doctor is able to diagnose you. So I think that's a great stat in itself. And another thing is that 1 in 4 people do a follow-up consultation every 4 months on the ODOC platform. So this shows that the patients are happy to consult, they're satisfied, and I think this is also because we build our app in-house. So the tech is all built in-house and we test it widely, and we have strict criteria for joining doctors. So I think these things together is what has helped us to to have such high satisfaction standards for our patients and doctors.
Okay, that's great to hear. And also, now I realize that you spoke about consultations, but what else and what are the different types of services that are available on ODoc currently?
So ODoc is first and foremost a teleconsultation platform where you can consult doctors through an app on your phone. What the other things that we do is we deliver medicines to your home. We also have a mobile lab service where you can come in, where you can get the mobile lab service to come in to do your blood tests. So for example, for my grandma, we get her medicine delivered home. She finds it a bit difficult to walk, so we get the mobile lab services to come home to do her blood tests and things like that. So it makes life super easy and super convenient. And it also helps the patient because they don't need to go into a place where there's potentially more diseases there. So it's safer for everyone and easier as well.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so now ODoc has come through a great journey ever since 2017, which I believe was when it was founded. So could you take us through that wonderful journey and the progress that ODoc has witnessed ever since its inception?
Yeah, so we started in 2017. Basically, the first few days we were getting, I think, one consultation every other day or so, and it was, I remember all of us sitting around, we were working in one room, and we were waiting for, like, a notification to go off to tell us that there's a consultation happening. So it's amazing to see the progress we've made, and to see thousands of consultations happening literally every month. So it's great that the platform has been able to scale and we've been able to handle these consultations. And while we've come a long way, I sincerely believe that we have a long way to go, and this is just the start of our journey.
It surely is. And okay, so now you know how doctors and healthcare workers play a huge role in telemedicine as well. So could you take us through how well or how accepting the doctors and other healthcare workers have been of this platform in Sri Lanka?
So I think one of our biggest things is that when we started, we had 3 doctors on the platform, and now that number has grown to 900 plus doctors, and we didn't have any corporates on board as well. So now we have 60 plus corporates that give ODoc to their employees as a free benefit, so that their employees can do multiple unlimited consultations with doctors on ODoc through their smartphone. So this growth, which when we started, we were doing, I think, 1 consultation every day or every other day. Today we are doing thousands of consultations with 900 plus doctors covering 60 plus specialties. So I think this growth has given us tremendous hope for the future. So we know there's a long way to go again, but we are happy with where we've come. We're not satisfied, but yeah, we have a long way to go, but it's been a nice ride so far.
Now, you mentioned how there are over 900 doctors that are involved with ODoc, and how would you say that doctors and other healthcare workers have been accepting telemedicine and the concept of telemedicine within Sri Lanka?
So I think the concept of telemedicine has been widely accepted after the pandemic started, especially. I think the fact that before the pandemic, I think we were at 400 doctors, and now with almost 2 years into the pandemic, we've doubled it to 950, I think just over 900 doctors. So the doctors and healthcare professionals have been great. Without them, I think there would be no ODoc, so we are very thankful to them. And it's not only ODoc, right? Like, there are other players in the market, and there are a lot of, I think, government services also now, where you can do consultations through a telephone, etc. So I think we need to look towards technology to help us solve problems that that we have at the moment, and I think the doctors and healthcare professionals have been great in that sense.
That's great to hear. And okay, Ashik, also relating to the services and the markets that you are looking into, could you tell us what exactly and who exactly will benefit from the services of ODOC?
So ODOC is for everyone. It's if you have a smartphone, you can do a consultation through the app. We basically have seen new moms that find it very useful because they have a lot of questions, especially as soon as they have a child. So of course, having a pediatrician on call literally 24/7 is great for them. The other thing is professionals, busy professionals who, not that they can't take time off work, they choose not to take time off work to go and see a doctor. So this way you can see the doctor even while you're at work or while you're at home at 10 in the night, 7 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, whatever it is. So those are the primarily our target market. We also cater to corporate customers, meaning people who work in factories, where we have a tab set up in the factory sick rooms, so people can come in, do consultations, and go without having to leave the factory premises. And normally a factory would have a doctor, I think, once a week or so, whereas this way there's a doctor 24/7 as well. So I think those are the general markets that we are targeting. So in addition to these people that use ODOC a lot, another couple of areas that we see a lot of growth in is mental health and sexual health, where people have privacy to talk to a doctor that they like. So I think these are very important conversations that we need to have. I think Sri Lanka is just coming out, just starting to accept these more and more, but I think things like ODOC and platforms, telemedicine in general, will help people get the support they need more readily. The other way is that even if you go abroad, let's say you're abroad for work, especially during this pandemic time, or you're abroad on holiday, and you do feel you want to speak to a doctor, you can still speak to the doctor that you like, that who understands you through the ODOC app.
Okay, all right. And with that, there's also a lot of technology, I believe, that plays a huge role in this. So with the technology that evolves day by day, how would you say that ODOC is planning to elevate, considering the technological advancements and the trends that are coming into play?
Yeah. So there's a lot we are planning on doing with ODOC, especially in the new year, be it wearable tech or things like that. So what I would say is follow us on social media to keep up with the latest things that are happening with ODOC, and you'll be right in it.
So now everyone wants a one-stop option nowadays because everyone's busy, as you mentioned, and everyone wants convenience over anything else. So would you say that ODOC has provided that one-stop option? And if it has, how has it impacted the business growth of ODOC?
So I think we definitely have a one-stop option. For example, you can do the consultation on your phone, you can get the prescription on your phone, you tap a button, the medicines get delivered home, you tap another button, the mobile lab services come home, tap a couple more buttons, you upload those back to the doctor to read the lab reports as well. So it has definitely helped, because we've seen, if you look at all the big pharmacies, for example, Union Chemist or Susala, they're right by the general hospital. That's because as soon as you see the doctor, you go and get your medicines. So on ODOC, it's right there as well. So you speak to the doctor on your phone, you get your medicines through your phone. So this is what I think is the catalyst for ODOC's growth as well, because having this one-stop shop has definitely brought more customers on, and it's kept the customers also on the ODOC app and making it easier for them to do everything they need to do to have a consultation and get their medicine.
Okay, that sounds very convenient actually. And also, Ashik, just to talk about the future, and because you mentioned that there is always hope in the future with telemedicine. So how would you say telemedicine enhances the medical industry in the future?
So I think one important thing we should understand is that telemedicine is enhancing the medical industry as we speak. Telemedicine is the here and now. It's been around for so many years. Like I've said, it's getting more and more formalized now, which is great. So I think you can see that through telemedicine, they're doing report operations in China while the doctor is in New York, and things like that. So that is where I feel that the future of telemedicine is going to be, where you don't have to have doctors on the ground, or at least in remote areas where you don't have doctors on the ground, you can still have access to quality and reliable medical services.
Okay, wonderful. And with that, unfortunately, we have come to the conclusion of our discussion. But thank you so much, Ashik, for being here and for such a fruitful discussion about ODOC and about telemedicine that we have learned. So thank you so much for being here once again.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much to the Daily Mirror team as well.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. That's it from us. Stay tuned for more interesting discussions. Until then, thank you and goodbye.